Welcome to the Next Level Podcast, Episode 4. I'm your host, Mike Stramer. With me is my co-host, Jon White.
What's going on?
Same old same. Good morning.
Morning.
Let's get this NFL countdown-style show going on a Sunday morning. So what we'll do is we'll review Week 12 games and what Vegas has for the lines, and then Jon and I will say what we think we would do. And just remember, these are suggestions. So, game number 1, you've got the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's at New York.
It's at New York. Yep. So, it's going to be a cold game because today is freezing.
Should be, yeah. So, Philadelphia is favored by 4.
By 4?
Yep, at New York.
Okay. I mean,
what do you think?
I think I'm going to take Philadelphia, yeah.
I agree. Philadelphia's been playing really well.
Take the money line.
Yeah. Well, heck, I would even...
Well, the points, right?
I think they'll win by more than 4. I mean, the Giants at times have shown kind of sparks. I mean, they were in the game with the Buccaneers for a little bit, but I think that's just one of those teams they don't know how to win yet. Maybe they'll be good. I think Daniel Jones has some potential, but Philadelphia's playing really well. Jalen Hurts is managing the game well. I mean, he's not throwing up huge numbers. But that defense, they're really tough. So
it's going to be interesting because I think I read Saquon Barkley is questionable today.
Really? Man. Such a talented guy. He's had so much injury issues.
So good, too. I hate seeing it. But what I think will be cool is seeing like a rookie receiver showdown between Devonta Smith and Kadarius Toney.
Oh, yeah. Tony's been really hot lately.
Yeah, he's fighting for his first NFL touchdown. He still hasn't done it yet. So, I mean, Smith now has 4, which is nice.
Yeah, man, Smith is a stud.
Hurts not only is leading the Eagles in passing touchdowns, but also rushing with 8 and also yards.
Yeah, I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns against the Saints.
He's a beast, man.
Yeah.
He's an animal.
That guy, he's been slept on his whole career.
Especially, I mean, when you got Tua coming in to take over for you as a freshman in a bowl game, and then you still back him up the whole next year.
Well, and I think that was before the transfer rules where they could transfer right away.
Oh,
right?
So he had to sit, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, because I think they won the previous year with Hurts. I mean, and does college always translate to the NFL? Not necessarily, but winning does.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
You know what I see happening here? I think Philadelphia is going to run all over New York.
What are you looking at some team stats?
I mean, so rushing yards a game, you've got Philadelphia at 153 per game. They're ranked second.
150 a game?
Yep.
Wow. And
then New York Giants is giving up 119 a game. They're ranked 22nd.
Wow.
That's a big deal. And out of the last five matchups going all the way back to 2018, since they're division teams, they play twice a year, Philly took 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
New York won the last one. At
well,
Philly,
and that probably would have been towards the end of last
Giants.
year, right?
Yep.
When they benched Wentz, right, and brought Hurts in. Was that the game where remember when Doug Peterson he benched Hurts, remember? Because Hurts came in after Wentz kind of got injured, and he brought in another quarterback. Because remember, they were going to win that game. What game was that? Or they were in contention to win, and basically the I don't want to call it the conspiracy, but the conspiracy was that
Peterson didn't
want to win to get a better draft pick, right?
Well, I thought it was he didn't like Hurts too, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I'm taking Eagles all day.
100%. Yeah, that's an easy one, I think.
I think I even have that on my
your pick'em
3-game parlay, and my pick'em too for sure.
Okay.
This game is going to be an exciting one. So you've got the Patriots versus the Tennessee Titans.
Man, I don't know how I feel, but I keep going back and forth because you look at the Titans, and I understand A.J. Brown is out. Obviously Derrick Henry is out for the season. Although funny enough, he's still second in the league for rushing. You and I were talking about that before, which is just shows how good that guy is. But the Titans are still 8-3.
Yep.
Right. The Patriots have ripped off 5 in a row.
Yep.
They're a hot team right now, but you just feel like the Titans are still a good team, but losing the Texans like they did last week, I don't know. This one I can go either way. Even after this conversation, I'll change my mind again. I think so. Right now, Vegas has the Patriots as a 7.5 favorite. I think the Patriots win, but I think it's closer than 7.5.
I think they are. The Titans don't know really what they're doing without Henry. Then they pick up Jones, and Jones has been hurt for them at receiver. So I mean that hurts. I even saw. I think they cut Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Which kind of blew my mind, I guess, a little bit. But I mean, he's not as young as he once was.
What is he? He's got to be up.
Yeah, he's
38,
like
39.
No, I'd say like 36. Okay. I don't even know.
Either way, I mean, a running back past the age of 35 is
and
the way the league
dude's
goes.
A freak though. But yeah, I mean, who do you think is leading in touchdowns, Mac Jones or Tannehill?
Well, this year, I mean, I'm sure Mac Jones has more.
Yep.
Because I had Tannehill on my fantasy team, and
because he should have went off.
He's been terrible.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, what could go wrong?
That whole offseason, I mean, they had a perfect team on paper. It's Mac Jones with 14, and Tannehill's got 13, so not by much.
See, now as we're talking about more of this, now I'm like, okay, maybe the Patriots win by a lot. See, I don't know.
I think they might.
I don't have a good feeling on. I don't have a good direction on this one.
The average points allowed by the Patriots defense is 16.1. They rank first.
Their defense is so good this year.
Yep,
so good this year.
They're the 6th pass defense and 8th rush for yards.
Yep.
So I mean, that's a killer defense. I mean, there's not much you could do, and
they can't run the ball.
Yep.
You know, they're. I'm sure Tannehill will probably figure out a way to move the ball. But you don't have AJ Brown. You're gonna have some guys that need to step up. Gosh, that's gonna be really difficult.
I'm going Mac Jones.
Oh yeah, I think about Mac Jones. Early on, I think they were pretty conservative with him, and now they're kind of opening it up. But he really he gets it. He's bought into that program, and I think he knows what job he needs to do. Even without Brady, the Patriots are kind of look like the Patriots again. So
yeah, it's funny though because Mac Jones fits that like build like Tom Brady kind of when he first came in. It's like
he was a first round pick, but he was slept on a little bit, right?
But he's goofy looking. Like that's what I mean. Like he doesn't fit the football look. That's what I mean. He's a great kid. He handles the media well. I mean, he's a great leader. It looks like from everything that I've read and seen. And also might be the best quarterback out of this draft class.
It's certainly, I mean, to this point, you have to say
for sure.
So, right?
Yeah, for sure. To this point, but there's a lot of good talent in this draft class, but it just depends on what Fields could do if the Bears get that offensive line fixed.
Well, now he's got the cracked ribs and Trevor Lawrence. Now that's the thing too. You look at a guy like Mac Jones. Okay, he's been the best quarterback of that draft class. Agreed. However, he does have by far and away the best team. Right. So.
Did you see Fields' face on the sideline that whole game? He did not look happy.
Which after he got taken out?
Yeah.
Well,
no, he was been out the whole game. He didn't even dress that game. This last game against the Lions.
Oh, I'm sorry. On Thursday, I thought you were talking about the Braves. The Thursday night, I forget that we have 3 games on Thursday.
He looked. I mean, he wanted to play bad, and the Bears just. Dude, I had them losing to the Lions, so they barely pulled that off.
And we talked about that earlier this week with the whole news about Matt Nagy. They're going to fire him the day after.
Yep.
And you look at it, right?
Yep.
And let's talk a little bit about that. So the rumors come out that he's going to get fired. And if he loses that game, the Bears lose that game, he's fired.
He was gone.
He was done.
Yep.
But he wins. Now what?
And it's like he didn't even win because of his coaching.
No.
That was the Lions game to win.
Yeah.
And they...
The Lions don't know how to win.
After Swift got hurt, though, they just lost their momentum.
Well, I mean, the Lions have they don't have a talented roster, right?
Yep.
Goff, I think he's been playing well, and they've been playing really hard. But when it comes down to it, every time, last second, they're not winning.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was an interesting game. But I felt like even with Dalton that the Bears were going to pull it out. And that even too, it's kind of funny. Even though the Bears win, it's almost not. Is it a good thing that they won? Because now here they are with Nagy, and the whole fan base. I think he's lost the whole fan base.
Yeah, he's lost the fan base. They want him gone. I think because the reports came out the way it did, the Bears handled it wrong.
What do you think?
I think their intent was to fire. They've never fired a coach midseason though, so it could have just been all speculation. But I think what happened is because the reports came out. Then you got the players freaking out.
Yeah.
You got the coaching staff freaking out.
Right.
So I think what happened is like, oh yeah, no, we're not doing that. Don't worry. Like we're not getting rid of your job. But if they would have lost for sure, I think he's gone.
But you said the Bears have never gotten fired a coach mid-season.
Nope.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe that's it then too. Maybe, if their ownership philosophy could be, we're not going to fire coach mid-season. Yeah. Maybe he's going to be there for the rest of the year.
Well, and Pace needs to get rid of him. So they're talking about
Pace needs to get rid of Pace, right? He's the problem.
Let's be honest. The owners need to go. Pace needs to go. But they're talking about like taking Pace away from a GM and putting him in like the front office.
How's that help anybody? Just reassign a guy, right? Yep. I mean, to me, if he's not doing it as a GM, move on, right? Because you keep having the same thing over and over again, right? Before Nagy, it was Trestman.
Yep.
And you sort of have this thing where Pace brings in a guy where I think Nagy was I think highly respected because of being the Chiefs coordinator, but he wasn't well sought after.
Yep.
It was one of those moves where I think Pace sees that he can be ahead of the game, kind of thinking like the Packers did with LaFleur, maybe bring in a guy that might bring on this offensive genius, and it just hasn't worked out. So
Nagy, I mean,
got to move on.
He's one of those guys that's better off being a coordinator than he is as a head coach.
Well, heck, even as a coordinator for the Chiefs, he didn't call plays, right?
Yep.
Andy Reid called plays.
Andy Reid
is the offensive coordinator, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, I don't know if they stick with him the whole year. You continue. That's the thing with Fields. That guy he's so tough. I remember
they're ruining the kid.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, because I think a guy like that, he's got cracked ribs, and to your point on the sideline, he could have played in his mind, right?
Yep.
So I think when you have a young guy like that, he's ready to play. I think for his development, you got to let him go out there. And
Justin Fields is a leader too.
Yeah,
he's got it in his eyes.
So they said they found some fractures on his ribs, right? So it wasn't. So the point is if he wanted to play through it, he could. And I feel like if he's your future and a guy like that wants to play,
well, they said
Thanksgiving, you got to let him play.
They said they weren't going to let him do it on that day because there's a short turnaround, but they're expecting him next Sunday to hopefully be back.
Okay. So. Well, again, now you're going to have this awkward quarterback controversy because Nagy's trying to win games so he can keep his job. Dalton just won, right?
Yep.
And it's just been mishandled from the start. Even when they signed Dalton, they signed him and told him, hey, that you're going to be the starting quarterback. This is your team. We're bringing in Fields, but
the Bears tend to do that.
They kind of do. So
look at Foles.
Yeah.
Third-string quarterback now on that roster.
Third-string quarterback, making $10 million?
Something like that, 10 or 20. Yeah. So, all right, let's go on to the next game. We've got the Miami Dolphins versus the Carolina Panthers. Looking at this game, I'm going I think
it's a close one.
I'm going to have to go.
Carolina's favored by 1.
I'm going Dolphins.
You're going Dolphins? Okay.
But Carolina does rank first in pass defense, yards a game.
Yeah, they got a tough defense. They've got, I think Christian McCaffrey's healthy.
If my boy Tua wants to prove himself, this is the game to do it.
You know what? It is a good proving ground game against Cam Newton, right?
And the pass defense. I mean, if he shows up and he plays well, that's going to help a lot. Yeah. So I think I'm going Dolphins.
Okay.
But
I'd go either way. I think I'll take Panthers in the 1 point. I think they win that game.
I love Cam Newton too, so it's like I kind of want them to win, but I think.
Well, you love Tua too.
Yeah,
so that's a tough one.
I think Tua's got a lot to prove, though. So that's where I'm going to go.
And it does, it does have playoff implications for both teams. I would say more so it's a must-win for the Dolphins because of how stacked the AFC is.
Yep.
If the Panthers win, they're still in the wild card hunt. There's obviously seven playoff teams again this year, so that'll be an interesting one. But it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll be a good one. Our next one, we've got Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 2-8 against the 4-6 Atlanta Falcons.
I'm not even gonna watch that game.
I have Jaguars winning as an upset.
So do I. It just I hate. It's hard to watch, especially late in the season. Two teams that they're in rebuilding phases.
Yep.
Those can be good competitive games, but they're always sloppy.
I feel bad for Matt Ryan, man. He's the one left there. Yeah. After everybody else is gone, man. I
would have thought if I'm Matt Ryan, I probably would have done like Stafford, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I understand where you're going with this organization, but I'd like to win towards the end of my career, And even the way Stafford did it, it's not like he, got out of Detroit in a bad way, right? There wasn't any bad blood there.
Yep. Matt Ryan, 2,400 yards.
He's having a
15 touchdowns.
Solid year.
So, I mean, where does someone like Matt Ryan go? Broncos?
You could, maybe Broncos.
But they also got rid of Von Miller, so they're kind of starting their rebuild. It would seem. Yeah, that's what I
feel like a team like the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan was the coordinator down in Atlanta when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now obviously they brought in Trey Lance, and that's probably their thought in the future. But Garoppolo, I think the jury's kind of out on maybe. Although when he's got Kittle, he's good enough. Yeah, but he's not the guy, right? You don't draft Trey Lance if you think Jimmy Garoppolo can be your starter for the foreseeable future.
I'm interested to see. I mean, maybe he does ask for a trade. Maybe he just retires.
Yeah. Well, I would think if I'm the Falcons, right, I want to get a high draft pick because that's the thing. They're 2-8, or no, I'm sorry, they're 4-6. So they're better than I thought. So they're 4-6, and they've won those games, those close competitive games, because of Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Now, it's great. Obviously, you always want to put a team out there to try to win, but do we think the Falcons are going to make the playoffs?
No.
Right? Even if they win, sure, they go to 5-6.
Both offenses and both defenses are ranked pretty low. So
what is
27th offense points per game is Atlanta.
Okay.
Jacksonville's 31st. Hey, man, that boy Trevor Lawrence that you want to waste your high draft pick on.
Yeah, I think that's more of an Urban Meyer problem than a Trevor Lawrence problem.
I really thought Urban Meyer was going to go Justin Fields because it's his alma mater. So I was like, alma mater? That's it, right?
Alma mater.
Alma mater.
You can say alma mater. I like alma mater. That's more American.
It's Terminator.
It is Latin. Alma mater. I like that. This show's going to coin that alma mater.
But yeah, no, I think, it's Trevor Lawrence. I never liked him in college. Thought he had an attitude. Thought he, everything was kind of handed to him type guy. Justin Fields has worked hard for everything, and that was my pick in college, and I think my pick now.
Yeah.
I think Justin Fields is going to be the better quarterback, and I think he could have ran that offense way better.
Yeah, it's hard to even tell what Jacksonville's trying to do down there because, well, they did have Etienne getting hurt. Maybe that would have made a difference, but I don't know. To me, I think Urban Meyer, every place he goes, he stays for a little bit and then leaves, and I think especially so with the NFL, I think he's going to feel more at home in a college.
Oh, yeah, where he could get all the chicks he wants,
exactly.
right?
I know.
That's what Urban Meyer wants.
I got to...
All those young girls hanging out at his bar.
That's the other thing, too. It's kind of funny how that all kind of died away. But
yeah, how's he there? But then you got Gruden gone.
Remember the Gruden thing came out the same week, and there was some memes going around.
They forgot about him now.
Yeah, and that's how the news cycle works. But, I don't know.
Could you imagine being his wife?
Well,
I don't know how she feels. Dude, speaking of.
Who knows?
Have you seen?
I imagine he probably.
Have you seen Mike Zimmer's girlfriend? Google it. Look on your phone right now. Right. I'm telling you, Mike Zimmer, I think she's like almost half his age. And that was the talk. That was the talk last week. Vikings people were bringing up. Yeah. They're like, look at Mike Zimmer's girlfriend. Are you kidding? No wonder why he's not coaching well on defense because he can't block anything.
Yeah, I think hey, you know what? To each his own. Good for him.
Right? That's what I said.
If he's happy.
He's happy.
Yeah, it's none of our business. Getting a little sidetracked, but yeah.
I just thought I'd bring that up.
No, that's funny.
All right, let's get to our next game. So we've got the Houston Texans versus the New York Jets. So both are 2-8. I think Zach Wilson comes back this week. I'm not 100% sure. But
or they just pick up somebody off the street again.
Yeah, I don't. That was crazy. Mike White.
So that's
Josh Jackson, right?
Yeah,
Johnson. Josh Johnson.
Was it Josh Johnson? Mike White.
Yep.
Zach Wilson. So 4 starting quarterbacks for New York.
And then Michael Carter was doing well till he got hurt.
Yeah.
Man. So Houston's won the last 3 out of 5.
Going back to what year?
Going back to 2009.
Okay.
So that's how long it's been.
Yeah.
They just won in 2018.
Okay.
But that's a whole different squad. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Houston though. I mean, they're favored by 3. It's in Houston.
It's just like the last game. Both offenses and defenses are ranked pretty far back.
But,
although the Jets are ranked 9th in passing offense. That's a shocker.
Well, yeah, but I think they've had a couple of those games. The Mike White game, he had like 400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
And they have been playing from behind quite a bit. But yeah, they have put up points. But I think
what's Vegas at?
3 points. 3-point favorite for Houston.
I'm going Jets.
You're going Jets? Okay. I like Houston. probably primarily because of Tyrod Taylor. I mean, you saw last week against Tennessee. Now, granted, we talked about Tennessee's issues and their struggles, but Tyrod Taylor's been a quarterback who he's won a lot of games for a lot of different teams, and he's never really been given the opportunity. Even earlier this year, they beat a really tough team. I'm trying to remember who it was. Then he got injured, out for a little bit.
Tyrod Taylor has what it takes.
I think so too.
Teams just give up on him so fast. It's hard being in the NFL, man. These teams get you in, promise you the world, and then boom, this new guy's coming in.
The needle.
Yep. But look at speaking of that, goes into a good conversation about Tom Brady's show that we were just watching.
Oh yeah, Man in the Arena.
Yep.
What'd you think about that? By
Drew
the way?
Bledsoe, man, like the dude, apparently according to Tom Brady, he was really nice to him the whole time and still was a good mentor. But like to suck that up, play in the it was the AFC Championship game, right? Yep. Get them the win after Tom Brady couldn't, and Tom Brady even knew like it wasn't a good game for him to play. Right. And then for you to not start the Super Bowl, but then I feel like that year is kind of when the Patriots started doing the Patriot thing of cutting good players that you wouldn't expect, like Malloy the next year, right? He went. Yeah. Or was it 2 years later that he went?
I think it would have been 2 years because they won. Remember and I think that was on the most recent episode. They won the Super Bowl, then missed the playoffs the next year.
That's what it was. Yep. Right. So then they needed a new safety. Yep. Or for some reason, no, they needed toughness on their defenses.
Well, I think a guy like Rodney Harrison's available. That guy's an all-timer.
Yeah, and he had something to prove.
Malloy's great, but give me Rodney Harrison over Lawyer Malloy all day. And it's interesting. You always got to be a little careful when it comes to watching documentaries like that. They're great, but they always they set the stage for you.
Like it's one-sided almost a lot of times.
Because what was behind that, I read up on a little bit after Lawyer Malloy. And granted, I understand where the guy's at. The Patriots asked him to take a pay cut to stay with the team, and he didn't want to. Yep. So then they parted ways. So, and Rodney Harrison was making, I think, $2 million a year, whereas Lawyer Malloy was at $6 million. Yep. So, but the NFL, but to Tom Brady's point, the NFL is a business, and a lot of times, even with Tyrod Taylor, he hasn't really gotten a shot, and he bounces around to different teams because it's a business. He's often with teams that are in a rebuilding phase, and a lot of times they'll draft a new quarterback, and
he kind of knows what he's getting himself into.
Yeah, but to be fair though, he's grinded out. He's been in several different offenses. He's won games at every place.
So you're taking Texans.
Oh yeah, I'm taking Texans,
and I'm going Jets.
Okay.
All right, so our next game, we've got the Indianapolis Colts and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 6-5 Colts and the 7-3 Bucks. This is going to be a good game at Lucas Oil Stadium, so Colts are going to be home. Carson Wentz, not too bad of a year. Yep. Tom Brady, though, 3,100 yards with 29 touchdowns.
They throw the ball a lot.
Well, and look at this. So Chris Godwin, 63 receptions, 782 yards and 5 touchdowns. Wow. Michael Pittman Jr., 57 receptions, 752 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he's right behind them.
Yeah.
The difference maker in this game is, I think, let's see what the run defense is actually ranked. It might be the running game. I mean, because that's what Indianapolis has to rely on.
Right, you're right.
For Carson Wentz to air the ball out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to come down to probably the Buccaneers' run defense and the Colts' ability to run the ball.
Takeaway differential. Indianapolis Colts are number 1 with plus 15. So that means they're getting a lot of turnovers on defense.
Yeah.
And not turning over on offense.
Yeah, Carson Wentz has only thrown 3 interceptions.
And these offenses, points scored per game, New England is Tampa Bay. New England, I'm used to Brady being there. Tampa Bay is 30.9, so they're ranked first, and Indianapolis is 28.1.
Okay.
And then let's see their points per game for defense, 11th and 13th. So it's like
they're similar teams.
Very, very similar.
And the Buccaneers are favored by 2.5.
Yep. So who
do you like? Bold prediction.
I'm going Bucks.
I'm going Colts. It's in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that could make a big difference. But the Bucks defense is first in rushing. 78. Yeah,
but they're not going to be. I just feel like Jonathan Taylor's playing so well right now. I think he's going to run on him.
Jonathan Taylor has the it factor.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I'm reading Tom Brady's questionable. I don't.
No, that's fake news.
And so is Carson Wentz. Let's be honest, they're both playing today.
Antonio, but here's one thing: Antonio Brown is out, and I sent you a statistic earlier this morning. With Antonio Brown, the Buccaneers are 5-0. Without him, 1-3.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. To me, that makes a huge difference. So I'm going Colts. The Colts are playing really well. They started out really shaky.
Yep.
But now, you can tell everybody's kind of gelling. Give me the Colts.
Did you put any parlay bets today or any?
I'm trying to stay away from the parlays.
I got one, so we'll recap that after we cover these next games. So now we've got a good divisional matchup: Cincinnati Bengals 6-4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers 5-4-1. Sorry guys, it's morning. So what? Vegas has Bengals
3.5.
4.
Yeah, Bengals are 3.5 point favorites.
Okay.
Against the 5-4-1 Steelers.
I'm going Bengals.
Okay.
Joe Burrow's playing awesome. I was looking at a thing earlier. I think he's got like an 84% accuracy rating for quarterback. He's ranked in the top.
He's been fantastic this year.
He looks great. You got him and Herbert going back and back.
To me, those are the next two elite guys.
Yep. Jamar Chase is going to be helping. 47 receptions, 867 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I'd like to see where Justin Jefferson is ranked. Mixon's playing well. Pittsburgh's dealing with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati's points allowed and scored per game, they're both 9th. So I think it's Browns all day. Take this game.
Bengals?
Bengals, dude.
It's okay.
I keep messing up.
You
Sorry,
just need
guys.
some more coffee. That's
we're going Bengals. So
the
the Bengals rushing yards per game is 98. So they're ranked 5th, defense.
Okay.
So I think they shut down Harris and.
Here's my take. My take on it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Steelers are terrible, and they're not a good team, and shouldn't win any game. Yet they always seem to be in it at the end. Big Ben finds a way. Although he looks, I swear, every pass that guy throws, I'm like, it's like he gets worse and worse.
Yep.
But Mike Tomlin gets that team ready to play. I'm gonna go Steelers, mainly because I have this weird theory when it comes to, and this doesn't go to all.
They're playing at the Bengals, right?
They're playing at the Bengals. This doesn't go to all divisional opponents, but Packers Vikings are a good example. Steelers Bengals, Steelers Ravens. They seem to always go 1-1 against each other, right?
Yeah.
So the Bengals beat the Steelers earlier in the year. So I'm mainly taking the Steelers because I think tough divisional opponents usually split games every year. So that's why.
That's the division. That might be one of the top divisions this year.
Well, the Browns
their records are all kind of not big good records, but they're all good teams.
Well, listen to this: Browns are 6-5, Ravens are 7-3, Steelers are 5-4, Bengals are 6-4. So let's say hypothetically the Browns win, the Steelers win.
Yep.
Every team will be within basically a game and a half of one another.
Yeah,
that division's wide open.
It's insane. I mean, it's a really good division. They're tough.
Yeah.
Anytime they come up in one of the matchups against any other team, it's like you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up or it's a clear runaway, hopefully, with one of those guys. So.
Yeah, that's my take on that game.
All right. Let's go on to the next game. We've got the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers, and I believe I took Chargers on this one.
Yeah. Right. Come on.
Yep.
I don't think the Broncos are any good.
Although they are playing at Mile High, and does the elevation play an effect?
Maybe a little bit, but I think these guys are professionals. I think typically,
don't they show up early
usually
for those
week
games
beforehand, something like that? But these guys are in such good shape. I don't think it impacts them. Now, I will say I went to Denver. This probably goes back a couple years ago with my fiance, and we landed and said, let's go up in the mountains and do some hiking, and I was in rough shape. But I'm not in great shape, so maybe that's the difference between pro athletes and
could be.
But yeah, I think give me the Chargers. Justin Herbert is so good.
So
and he gets better every single game.
Denver's got the third defense for points allowed,
but no Von Miller.
Yeah, but has that played an effect? I can't see the last matchups that they had, but does that really play an effect? Because they still have really good corners. They still have Chubb. Is Chubb out? I think they still have Chubb. Yeah, I mean, it could go any way, but I think Chargers come away with this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at here's Denver's last 5. They've lost 2 in a row to the Raiders and Browns. The last team they beat was Washington, and the week prior was Dallas, and then they got beat by Philly the week prior.
But those are 2 good teams, Washington and Dallas, depending how you want to look at it.
Team. Come on, can we put that?
Let's go, Dallas. Let's go.
Dallas is not a good team.
Let's go, Dallas.
Come on.
All right, so who you taking on this one? You're taking
Chargers
too?
I'll take Chargers. I think favored by 3. I think they blow this team out. I don't think Denver's very good. Denver started off pretty good. I think they were 4-1, something like that early on, remember, and they looked pretty solid. But for whatever reason, they've kind of fallen apart. And when you trade your best player off on defense, you're
showing you're entering a rebuild, you're not even really trying to compete.
Exactly. And when you're you trade them at a time in which, and this would have been, I think, 2 before they had lost to Cleveland.
Yep.
So they would have been 5-3 at that time. What does that say to the locker room? We're trading our best player. What does that say to everybody?
Yeah, it's it.
Right?
I mean, I feel like a lot of those players were sad, too, to see Von Miller go.
Of course. He's the heart and soul of your team. He's been there the longest. He was the last player from their Super Bowl winning team. And there was, I think, they were interviewing Miller when he got traded. He was crying in the front office when they traded him. That's there's an emotional side to it, too. But that
now he's with the Rams. That's a good team. Yeah. I'll take it. Well, let's go on to my favorite team, the Vikings, playing at the 49ers. They're both 5-5. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, here comes Justin Jefferson. So he is doing better in Chase this year. 63 receptions, 944 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Good. To me, the only guy that in the league that's better than him is Devontae Adams.
Yeah, because you're a Packer fan.
Well, yeah.
And also, Devontae's further in his career. He's more polished. He's in his prime right now.
True.
He's still got a couple years in him of good, really high-level playing.
I still think Vikings.
Does he stay with the Packers next year, though? I don't know.
Trade Jordan Love, Justin Jefferson, heads
up.
No, your quarterback problem.
Not a done deal.
Okay.
Not happening.
We'll keep talking.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. Deebo Samuel, 994 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he's on fire. And he's got rushing touchdowns, I believe.
I feel like these teams are in very similar spots because they both start off kind of iffy and slow.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some good wins as of late. I think San Francisco lost to Indianapolis, but we've seen Indianapolis is a solid team.
Who do you think has the better defense?
My natural assumption would be the Vikings.
But
I feel like it'd probably be close. What is it?
49ers. So you've got points allowed a game. 49ers are 11th and the Vikings are 22nd. And then the 49ers have the 3rd best pass defense. So this is really going to test out Cousins. But they have the 20th rushing defense. Minnesota's rushing yards per game, they're 27th, allowing 127.
27th in rushing.
Huh?
So the Vikings
defense.
On defense, I'm sorry.
Yep, and their passing is 20th for defense. Like it's I don't know,
Mike
man.
Zimmer's distracted.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins isn't turning the ball over though, so our takeaway differential is +6.
There was 2. He had 2 gifts last week. Let's be honest.
That should have been picked.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one that they got called back, I think it was for roughing the passer, and then the catch that was magically ruled not a catch, and we're back to what is a catch, but
yep. I think
anyways, we're moving on from that.
Dalvin Cook goes off.
Okay.
I think that's who they're going to try to rely on. I guess we'll find out though. But yeah, I'm taking Vikings obviously.
49ers are 3.5-point favorites. I think I like the 49ers, but probably less than 3.5. I think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal.
It's always a field goal with the Vikings. Always.
It's going to be a close game. Yep.
That's why Vegas sets that line 3.5.
Exactly.
Like,
they do 100%.
Yep. All right, our next game, we've got the Los Angeles Rams against your Green Bay Packers at Lambeau, where it's frigid cold right now. So you got the boys coming from California in nice warm weather out to the frozen field.
Frozen tundra.
Frozen tundra. And on this one, I'm taking Green Bay.
You're taking Green Bay?
Yep, we're going to go with Green Bay.
Well, so, of course...
No, sorry. I'm going Rams.
You're
I
going
think
Rams?
Matthew Stafford has something to prove.
Okay. Well, that was...
After that last game.
So here's... My heart says the Packers. I got to always pick the Packers. But objectively looking at it, I think the Rams match up really well against the Packers. They're going to have OBJ is going to have some more time in the offense. Von Miller is going to have more time in the defense. He's going to be ready to go. And you mentioned the weather, right? And that being probably for the Packers' favor. But remember, Matt Stafford has played in Green Bay once a year going back his entire career. So he knows how to play.
And I think your quarterback's the main one to suffer
and
from
Stafford has beaten the Packers plenty of times.
Kicker.
He's not intimidated by the whole thing. I think you're right, but I don't want to admit it. So we'll see. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be fun.
Who do you think has more passing yards and touchdowns, Rodgers or Stafford?
Stafford.
Yep, it is. Yep. It's crazy. 3,000 yards. Rodgers has 2,500.
Well, Rodgers missed a game due to COVID.
That makes a difference.
And to be honest, if you look at his statistics, he's more towards what he was maybe 2 years ago. I mean, last year was an all-time year. That said, though, they've been winning, so it's been working. But the Packers just suffered another pretty horrific injury with their left tackle, Elton Jenkins. Towards ACL. He's out for the rest of the year. David Bakhtiari is still not back yet. They apparently had a scope surgery where they kind of clean up some stuff.
Yep.
So
he's on IRC right now.
Yeah, I think for me, they're talking he might be back. I think he's not going to be back this year. I think they'll let it heal.
I mean, Packers have one of the top defenses, points allowed 5th, and then
did they look like a top defense last week?
No, but the Rams have one of the top offenses, so it might be like a Vikings-Packers game all over again.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I think if the Packers win, it'll be a tight game, relatively low scoring. I think that's how they can win. If the Rams win, I think they'll win it by a couple scores. I think they could run away with it because if you look at the rosters, man, Rams have better talent. That's just the reality. So
they do. I mean, they're loaded.
Yeah, Packers.
But Robert Woods is out. Does Odell Beckham actually show up this game?
We'll see. I mean, and we haven't seen Odell Beckham with a
Browns, really
top-level quarterback.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if Stafford throws ducks like he did last week, I don't know, man. Okay.
We'll see.
So our next game is a divisional matchup. You've got the Baltimore Ravens 7-3 against the Cleveland Browns 6-5.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Ravens on this. Lamar Jackson should be back, ready to go, and he's a big difference maker. I'm not a fan of Baker. I don't think Baker has it. Lamar Jackson is beating Baker in passing yards and touchdowns. So how are people still saying that Lamar Jackson can't throw?
I haven't heard that. Who says that?
It's all over the place. People keep saying it, and I'm like, he could throw if he needs to. He proved it last season. He had 5 touchdowns the first game.
Yeah,
or something.
I don't know. I think sometimes people will say certain things that make a splash and are sort of.
So their offenses and defenses are evenly ranked. So it's going to be interesting.
You feel like, to me, I agree with you. The Ravens are a much better team. They win this game, right?
Yep.
And then they're favored by 3 points.
The Cleveland Browns have the 8th ranked pass defense.
They do have
yards.
A strong defense. They got a good pass rush. I think
Myles Garrett gets in your face.
That could be a difference maker. I mean, the one thing with Lamar Jackson, if you can get pressure on him, you can kind of slow him down. But the problem is, it's risk versus reward, and it's feast or famine.
Because if he breaks out, then what do you do?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. So you need to bring pressure. But you got to try to keep him in a pocket, and you can't because he's going to get out. He's going to gash you for big plays. They're at home. We've seen where Lamar Jackson struggles is on grass fields that aren't well kept. Miami, right? This is at home. They're on their turf. He knows how to maneuver on it. I think the Ravens win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's. I don't even think it might not even be close, but it's a divisional game.
It's a divisional game. It's always close. They know each other so well, and the Browns are sneaky too. Sometimes they get competitive in games when people have sort of passed them off. They are a tough team.
Exactly. It's going to be a fun game to watch tonight, guys. Our next game for Monday night, you've got the Washington football team, 4-6, playing the Seattle Seahawks, who are 3-7. I'm going Washington on this one.
I agree.
I think Vegas has, 1.5?
I think right now the line's even, so it's
Even?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that means they're neither team's favored. You know, you always think with a team with a matchup like this, Russell Wilson, right? But man, the Seahawks, they're as bad as I've ever seen. I mean, and there was talks. I heard a rumor that there was consideration, as we're well past the trade deadline, but in the offseason they might trade him to the Giants, Russell Wilson to the Giants.
So they were saying that Russell does want to be traded.
Yeah.
He wants to compete now, man.
Well, man, I mean, that's the thing. It's one thing to sort of have to reload, but you don't see anybody on that roster that the defense doesn't feel like they've got young core guys that can get there. There doesn't seem to be much going.
And Washington just looks good. I mean, Taylor Heineke.
They look good, but they don't look good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they kind of win ugly, but to your point, they look good by being able to win. They do. Yep.
They rally around their coach, Ron Rivera, and do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Washington gets this, although
they've lost 3 straight.
Seattle's got the 7th points allowed per game defense.
No, I'm sorry. They've won the last 2. Washington's won the last 2.
Yep. It's going to be a good game, guys. That's another good Monday night matchup. Russell Wilson just doesn't look like he wants to play or be there.
Well, he's got no help, you know.
Yep.
He's got DK Metcalf, but they can't run the ball. Their defense is no bueno.
Yep.
I don't know. I think Pete Carroll. I've never been a big fan of Pete Carroll, but I feel like now you can tell Seattle. I think maybe the love is lost a little bit between the front office and Pete Carroll. So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, but if the Seahawks lose, their season's done. They're 3-7, right? Then there's that basically will put them out of contention. You could maybe make the playoffs with 9-8, but it's unlikely.
Yeah,
so they'd have to run the table.
Yeah, I mean that's how. Going Washington on that. So I think that's it for our games to review. And let's see what else we might have today.
Let's talk about Man in the Arena a little bit.
Yeah, that show.
Yeah.
With Brady. So, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely recommend getting it. Very good.
Yeah, it's basically a documentary about Tom Brady. It's on ESPN Plus, so I think that's premium one, but I think it's $5 a month or something like that.
Or if you have Disney Plus, I think they bundle it all together. Yeah.
But it's so far I think it's a 10-part miniseries that they'll release weekly.
Yep.
But basically just talks about Tom Brady's career, and we're through the first 2 episodes.
And we've seen 2 of them so far.
So they talked about Tom Brady winning the starting job over Drew Bledsoe, and a lot of people forget how good Drew Bledsoe was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was their franchise quarterback.
He was really good. I mean, the players were kind of devastated when they cut him. A lot of the locker room seemed to still want him.
Yeah, but you go with the hot hand, and even too there was the controversy about going with Brady over Bledsoe in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I understand Bledsoe came in and won, but Brady's gotten you there the whole down the stretch of the season, and locker room I think was behind Brady.
Then they win, and next year they have a bad year.
Yeah.
Which was, I think it wasn't even a bad year.
It was
9-7.
But they missed the playoffs, right?
Yep.
You know, and you go with Brady.
Yep.
And the fan base is okay. You assume that's the right move, but then you almost wonder, was it a flash in the pan? Was that just 1 year wonder type of thing? And then the cutting Lawyer Malloy right before the season that would be their Brady's 3rd season with.
That was crazy too that they cut him because he was the leader of the defense. And
he was, but like I said, I did a little bit more research on that. He had no interceptions, no sacks previous year.
Yeah, so you take the other guy that's proven already.
Well, I think they wanted Lawyer to. And we talked about this, the Patriot way kind of is, hey, if you need to take a pay cut to remain on the team, you should do that. And he didn't want to do it.
Gronk and Brady did it a lot.
Every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the thing, too. I understand Malloy's standpoint because he's like, hey, we made an agreement. I signed a contract.
Yep.
Now you're telling me you want me to change it just so it's more convenient for you?
Yeah, because he still had 4 years left.
Yeah. So and he was still he wasn't willing to do that, and he still got a significant amount of that contract before they released him, and then he went to the Bills, and I think he bounced around the league a little bit after that. But yeah, it's a
great show.
Yeah,
watch it.
Yeah, check it out. It's really interesting. It's cool to see. You kind of forget how Tom Brady has gotten to where he's gotten because it's been so long.
Makes you respect him a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good show to watch. Watch the first 2 episodes. Well worth it. The other thing is the card world. So Next Level, the Facebook group, we've got boxes of XR up to break, which XR is the brand new product coming out on Wednesday.
Okay.
In every case of these, you're guaranteed a 1-of-1 auto.
Okay. So explain to us a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, so 1-of-1 autos. So most cards, not all cards, the rare cards are numbered.
Okay.
So they'll be like numbered out of 99, numbered out of 299. It depends on the set.
So that'd be how many total cards are made for that?
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then with the XR, you got a guaranteed 1-of-1. So 1-of-1 is like there's only one of that card out there.
An auto is autographed, right?
Yep. So it's an autograph. Most likely it's an RPA.
Okay.
So RPA is a rookie patch autograph.
Okay.
So that's going to be like a patch from like their jersey, the NFL shield. There's a bunch of different things that they do. The best one is the NFL shield patch. If you get that with the autograph, that's like golden. For any of the big quarterbacks, that's the biggest thing right now. That's the other thing is Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence cards have dropped big time in value.
Interesting.
Yep.
Those were really hot earlier in the year.
Mac Jones took over the throne.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like last year. Herbert was the same way. Herbert was the lower guy, and then, boom, all of a sudden, Herbert's all you want. I was collecting Burrow and Tua, but I mean, Tua cards you could buy cheap right now.
But that's one of those too with Tua, because if all of a sudden you've seen it, it's a week-to-week league.
Yep.
If he lights it on fire, boom,
you could sell a lot of it.
Exactly.
Yep. And then Cole is another guy in the admin in the group. He breaks hockey.
Okay.
So he's had some hockey stuff that he's been putting up. Wayne's been a long-term admin of ours, and he's got some baseball gold label. So these are cool. They're like actual gold, like around the edges of the cards.
Oh, like gold-plated. Okay.
Yeah, gold-plated. Yeah,
cool.
It's still cool looking.
Sure.
On-card autos. That's the other thing with cards. Sometimes you have on-card autos, and then you have sticker autos. The on-card auto is more sought after.
Because it's the actual autograph from the guy, right?
On the card.
Yeah.
So otherwise, it's a sticker that Panini or Topps or Bowman slaps on.
You remember the footballs that used to be autographed, and it's not really their
like
autograph.
those are actual autographed mini helmets right there.
Sure.
And football. The stickers are actual autographs, but it's just the player will sign like thousands of these stickers, and then send them in. So it's not like he actually autographed that.
Right. Okay.
AJ Dillon does breaks.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he does, and I think it's on loop. But what he'll do is if you pull one of his cards and it's a sticker auto, he'll pull it off and then he'll actually autograph the actual card. Yeah, I thought that's cool. Something you might like.
Yeah,
but
I do. I like me some AJ Dillon.
Yeah, he's looking good.
I know.
He's got those quads, Quadzilla, right? Is that what he calls himself?
Huge. Yep.
He's a funny guy too. Like I've watched some of his TikToks. He's hilarious.
I didn't know he did breaks. We'll have to check some of those out.
Yep. Yeah. Not to promote someone else, but
no, I mean, well,
he's a pro player, and it's pretty cool. So that's what's going on in the card world right now. Those will be breaking Wednesday. The XRs that I got. There's a lot of 1-on-1s usually that you find in this. It's like a $400 box.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. So
awesome.
I enjoyed breaking it. Last year it was the first product that we broke that we pulled the 1-of-1 Justin Herbert shield out of.
Okay. So that's the thing too. Even if you're not super into the cards for, this nostalgic part.
Yep.
As we see rising prices with everything, if you have $100 in your savings account a year ago, today it's worth probably 60% of that. So look at different investment instruments, right? I mean, sports cards, they're back to where they're limiting the production of them. And there's a real resurgence. So if you haven't done much research on it, I urge all of you to do it. I've done it. It's a really interesting game. So
yeah, exactly. So make sure, like, if you're not in it, just take a look at our Facebook group and then join if you like it. Also, it's called Next Level Card Rips and Ships, I think. Rips Breaks Auctions, and then we've got Next Level Cards and Memorabilia, which is like a buy sell trade page.
Yeah, you can find that in our description portion on Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
So.
And then also, guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, please listen to it. And the best thing that you could do for John and I is like, share, comment, let your friends know about us. We should be on all the major platforms now.
Yep.
So if someone says, "Oh, I don't have that app," well, they could listen to it on one of their other apps.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we'll continue to do these twice a week.
Yep.
Depending on how much you guys end up liking it, maybe daily. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah. If you want us to talk about something, send us something in the comment section. Send us a question. We'll cover it.
We do read that. Reach out to either of us directly on Facebook if you want to do that. Also, any negative feedback, we love to hear it. We just want.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, we don't want to hear it, but like,
any negative, just keep it to yourself. Only give us positive. We need it for our egos.
Any way that you guys think would help us grow.
Yeah, we're always looking for honest feedback. So.
Yep, or change it. Just let us know.
Cool.
So to our loyal listeners, we appreciate you guys jumping in. Good luck on your Week 12 bets. Let's go ahead and get some wins.
Cool.
Thank you and have a great day.
See you guys.